A world covered in ice and snow. Life for the two of them is like a battlefield. Only the strongest, smartest, and most ruthless survive in this harsh land. But among this burning capital, there was a group of hunters who ruled this frozen world. Hunters who even the giant mammoths feared. These creatures were not like the ordinary wolves of today. They were cave wolves, mysterious and deadly hunters, larger than any modern wolf, with longer teeth, muscular legs, and a mind that understood only one thing: survival. Life was more important to the creatures than anything else. And now the question that arises is, how did these creatures survive in the Ice Age, the most brutal era on Earth? And how did they hunt in a world of certain destruction? And what even happened to make them disappear from the page of history? These creatures were too tough to be extinct so easily. But what happened to them? Today, our journey begins thousands of years ago, to the world of ice, cold, and deadly hunting. In this documentary, you will hear the answers to all your questions about the cave wolf. Stay with us. Cave wolves were no ordinary hunters. Not only were they larger than modern wolves, but they also possessed extraordinary hunting intelligence. Unlike many hunters of the time, they did not chase their prey. They trapped them. These creatures knew that physical strength alone was not enough to survive. They were masters of strategy. But every hunter, no matter how strong, one day comes to an end. The very nature that had brought these hunters to their peak had now turned against them. There were no more woolly mammoths and no more endless winters. The earth changed, and cave wolves had no place in this new world. These creatures had evolved to survive only in cold environments, and when the Ice Age ended, they faced a great enemy called nature, which we will talk more about later. In the prehistoric world, the battle for survival was always on, but some wars were more than just a simple competition for survival. Some were a fight between two predators, two of nature's most ruthless and kingly predators. Today, we'll tell the story of one of the greatest conflicts of the Ice Age, when shadow hunters and cave hunters faced off. Cave wolves versus cave bears. Cave bears were prehistoric ice monsters. Unlike modern bears, they were not only bigger, but also much more aggressive. The power of their jaws and claws would crush any obstacle in their path. But cave wolves were masters of pack hunting. This battle was a battle of power versus strategy. While the wolves were looking for an opportunity to attack, the lone bear had only one thing on his mind: to be king. This bear just wanted to hunt alone in this habitat, but the wolves were against it. This battle was a real war. The wolves knew that if they stayed united, not even a cave monster would be able to confront them and would be defeated. But even the strongest hunters don't always win. The Ice Age was at its peak, a savage world where only the fittest survived. In this frozen land, wolves stood at the top of the food chain as ruthless predators. But among all this, a big question arises. Will these hunters one day become friends of humans? While humans and cave wolves were potential enemies in this frozen world, something big was happening. Do you think it is possible that these wild hunters could become human guardians? And it is even possible that cave wolves are the early ancestors of modern dogs. But in fact, the early ancestors of modern dogs were the Tomoctus, about which we made a whole video that I recommend you watch after this video. If you have seen the Tomoctus documentary on our channel, you will notice that the macross gradually evolved into different groups, one of which was the early Candaes, which are the ancestors of modern wolves. In general, it can be concluded that modern dogs evolved from their second ancestors called cave wolves. Not all dogs, but some breeds. And if you want to fully understand the evolution of dogs, be sure to watch the documentary Tamarcus on our channel. Deep in a remote cave, archaeologists have uncovered one of the greatest mysteries of the Ice Age: the remains of a pack of cave wolves that had mysteriously scattered throughout the site. But this wasn't just any ordinary discovery. These were powerful, ruthless hunters who had now become a trap of bones. What do you think had happened in this cave before? Why did these wild hunters suffer such a bitter fate? Here, in this frozen cave, the wolves were struggling not only with their natural enemies, but also with a mysterious and sudden threat. Perhaps these deaths were not a simple tragedy. Perhaps it was an internal conflict between pack members, or something bigger and more mysterious. According to the research we have obtained so far from the fossils of these creatures, we have found that these deaths were mostly due to conflicts over dominance, over females, and leadership of the pack, meaning that they fought fierce battles within their own pack throughout the year, and even this helped the pack's strength a lot. In the heart of these icy mountains, in a wild world where there was no mercy or compassion, there was a ruler whom no one dared to confront. These ruthless lands were in the hands of the cave wolves, peerless hunters for whom no challenge was too unpredictable. Here, amidst the snow and ice, the wolves were not only skilled hunters, but also absolute rulers of the mountains. Using their extraordinary physical strength and sharp minds, they wrote the rules of this icy world. In the frozen lands known for their severity and ruthlessness, no creature could overcome them. They did not rely on their muscles and teeth alone for survival. The wolves, the true rulers of the icy mountains, depended on strategy and cooperation at every moment of their journey. Together and in cooperation, they would trap big game and fear nothing. Cave wolves were ruthless and silent hunters who moved in the dark, lurked and attacked at the right moment. But what distinguished these predators from other animals was their unparalleled skill in group hunting. Cave wolves acted like an army. In each hunt, they had a detailed plan. No movement was without purpose, and each member of the group had a specific task. Some separated the prey from its main path, some blocked its escape route, and others delivered the final blow. Patience, precision, and coordination. These were the three qualities that made cave wolves such unparalleled hunters. They never hunted alone. Together, they could take down prey much larger and stronger than themselves. They would hide in the darkness, choose the right moment, and then, like a deadly storm, descend upon their prey. But hunting was only one part of this battle. After killing their prey, they had to protect it, for the land was full of fierce competitors. Cave wolves were fierce hunters of the Ice Age, but in the harsh, icy world of that time, hunting alone was not enough. They had to survive. There were enemies lurking that challenged even the strongest wolves. One of the most fearsome of these enemies was the cave bear, a huge giant with claws that could knock a wolf to the ground with a single blow. These bears had taken over the deep caves, and any wolf that came too close became defenseless prey. But bears were not the only threat. In the frozen snows, cave lions lurked, powerful predators that hunted in small but powerful packs. If a wolf got separated from its pack, it quickly became a victim. And among these, there was one enemy the wolves could never escape: hunger. Long, harsh winters made food scarce, and competition for survival intensified. Sometimes, wolves were forced to fight each other, and these bloody clashes could tear their packs apart. Cold is everywhere. Snow-covered ground, icy winds that blow like razors, and endless nights. Here, in the heart of the Ice Age, cave wolves fight for survival against their most ruthless enemy: the deadly cold. Endless winters, severe frosts, and dwindling prey had turned the lives of these hunters into a terrifying nightmare. The mammoth herds were dwindling, the giant elk were taking refuge in distant forests, and every day it became harder and harder to find food. Hunger was always with them like a shadow, but it was not only hunger that threatened them. In this frozen world, fierce storms could tear wolf packs apart. A wolf left alone was doomed. They either froze to death or fell prey to cave lions and giant bears. To survive, they had to become stronger, faster, and smarter. Their herds grew larger, their hunting skills improved, and they learned how to survive in this white hell. But even with all their efforts, nature was always more ruthless, and not everyone could survive these deadly winters. For thousands of years, cave wolves were the unrivaled hunters of the icy mountains. But then, they suddenly disappeared. The question is, what killed these powerful predators? With the end of the Ice Age, the world changed. The ice melted, the forests expanded, and large prey like mammoths disappeared. Hunting became harder and competition fiercer. But that wasn't their only problem. Humans were expanding. They took over the hunting and bred dogs to replace the cave wolves. In addition, some scientists believe that humans may have hunted these wolves for their skin to make woolen clothes. The cave wolves were caught in the trap of change. They fought for prey, for territory, for survival. But in the end, they were defeated. One of the greatest predators of the Ice Age has been forever lost to history. But perhaps a part of them still lives in the genes of today's dogs, in their hunting instincts, their nocturnal howls, and their gaze that still hides a light from the past. Thank you for being with me this far. To support us, just subscribe to our YouTube channel for another video. Goodbye.